So when the Cuyahoga River burned in 1969, it was an embarrassment for Cleveland, but it certainly was the start of the environmental movement in the country and in the world as far as recognizing the danger. So fast forward to 2005, the Great Lakes Science Center, the board was conducting a strategic planning sessions.
They quickly came to NORTEF, which also was the technology advocate and for the region, the economic development organization that I was CEO of, and wanted to partner in that endeavor because we had just done a strategy study ourselves and identified water as something that possibly the region should focus on.
So I went to this meeting that Jenny had organized. She had organized and arranged for a group of academics, largely educational.
So during the planning sessions, there was a discussion of the need for a freshwater institute, much like Woods Hole, say, on the East Coast, a place where we could do research.
So I wanted to make sure that this freshwater institute included strong research activities as well as strong educational activities.
Primarily at Kent State University and the Cleveland State University that were working in the water space. And it was believed that if you got all the researchers together and maybe formed an institute, a research institute, that would be how it should evolve.
The fact that there were many excellent organizations in Cleveland that recognized the importance of our lake and that it was one of our largest, perhaps the best asset that we have.
Of course, at the time, we didn't have Bryan Stubbs or a really dedicated CEO to drive the train. It was just a group of people sitting around together, kicking around ideas and not making a whole lot of headway.
It grew from small gatherings in a concerted effort to say, look, we've loved this conversation so much, Great Lakes Science Center. We're grateful you pulled us together, but we want to keep the conversation going. So it quickly extended beyond the strategic plan into something wonderful that we had not even imagined.
So there was one point when the name of the Cleveland Water Alliance was actually the Freshwater Innovation Alliance. And it evolved over time, I think, from a Freshwater Institute to an Innovation Alliance to the Cleveland Water Alliance. And that process took almost 2 decades.
Well, it wasn't until Bryan and I came on board and really started putting together, put all the pieces together, and realizing the power of our water, Lake Erie here, wasn't just the fact that we could make a lot of clean water for all big users or clean up wastewater, keep the lake clean. There was actually some economic development opportunities we collectively could be players in.
My main concern with Bryan was that he knew a lot, but he wasn't very well versed with water. It is the Cleveland Water Alliance. I'll tell you, Bryan is a quick study.
The early days of the Water Alliance were not well defined. We were kids, as we like to say. We weren't even in high school yet. We were probably somewhere thinking about middle school. So we really had to give thought to, what do we want to be when we grow up? What is the opportunity to be? So coming in, it was me, and just me, and only me initially.
And I think he had a lot to sort through in terms of, what did people think this was going to be? What could it be?
Certainly those first few years was a lot of, kind of soul searching for the community, for the organization. It was a lot of conversations, with corporate partners, with, research institutions, with, the utility partners, other government partners to say, what is the opportunity here?
Cleveland Water Alliance in 2021 launched a new program called the Open Innovation Challenge Program. And it was an opportunity for us to really take a look at where there are significant gaps in the market, work with the stakeholders that are impacted by those gaps, and use those interested stakeholders to really define the problem statements.
It's a great kind of symbiotic relationship, as we bring a lot of consumer knowledge and consumer relationships with our major customers that maybe an inventor somewhere in the world doesn't have. So partnering with an inventor somewhere with our relationships with consumers and with retailers, wholesalers, can really draw out the best in an idea, in a new product idea, etc.
Clean Water Alliance is making sure that the innovators who are contributing in their test bed or using resources that they're making available to them are meaningful in terms of what the emerging trends in the water space are. So they're constantly evolving with respect to what the needs of our emerging market is.
One of the things that has been a big priority for Cleveland Water Alliance over the last few years is to explore how we can support decision makers with better information for them to make the decisions they need to make on a daily basis in water management.
So starting with this idea of turning Lake Erie into a smart and connected Great Lake. And the funny thing that happened here is by making Lake Erie smart and connected, by using it to test and try all sorts of new technologies, new innovations, that suddenly we had access to, the first time ever, to real-time water quality data.
Cleveland Water Alliance's Smart Lake Erie Watershed has really served as kind of like it's the only one of its kind around the world. So it's definitely gotten more and more recognition around the world.
When I travel abroad, and we get invited often to go and speak globally, they want us there. I'm usually doing a discussion, maybe a panel discussion with, a similar effort from the Netherlands. And for us, it's not the United States effort, it's the Cleveland effort.
What's terrific now is that people are knocking on our door, right? And there's an eagerness to be involved. There's a recognition of the vibrancy and activity of this organization that means we're in a much different position when it comes to getting people around the table.
The Cleveland Water Alliance is strategically in an excellent place by being on a water body which is responsible for, a large volume of the fresh water on the surface of Earth. The opportunity with respect to managing not just the one water economy, but contributing proactively to the infrastructure needs to support that one water economy.
We get to make a difference as it relates to the quality of life. And that quality of life is that 21% fresh water out there on Lake Erie, the world's fresh water. And we need to nurture it, we need to protect it, we need to monitor it, but more importantly, we need to make sure that everybody that utilizes the Great Lakes understand the precious resource that it really is.
I'm so excited for where it's headed, the potential for Cleveland Water Alliance to be a driver of something that saves lives, right? That changes, the protection and the health of fresh water around us. It's quite a moving thing for CWA to play that role.
What I see is a creation of not just innovative technology, but I see a creation of job. I see a creation of economic development. Everybody is going to benefit from advances in technology, investing, reinvesting, and figuring out what is best for our region.
We have organizations here, we have innovations. We want the world to recognize that. We want people to see that Cleveland is where you go. It's a go-to place if you have an issue in fresh water.